Hello folks, welcome to another tutorial on data skills for everyone. And in today's video, I have another interesting topic for us to discuss, and we are still talking about basic text processing in Python, how to handle text data with confidence. All right, so in today's tutorial, I'm going to focus on how to generate and write multiple text files to disk using the Pandas package. Okay, so a lot of the times you work with pandas, you generate a lot of data, and then you want to be able to save it out in different formats. And one of which formats may be to save as a text file. So I'm going to show you. If you saw in some of my earlier tutorials, I had these articles saved in text files that I use for manipulation. All these ones I generated automatically using pandas and just a few manipulations to go with it. So if you're thinking about how to be able to do this, that's the point of this video. So without wasting too much time, let's just dig in. So here again, we come into Spider IDE, my favorite for doing this kind of work. So quickly to summarize, this is what we will be doing in this episode to generate some data as needed. And it doesn't matter how you get your data, but in this demonstration, I'm just going to use generate data using the Faker module to get in data with a lot of ease. However you get your data in, that's fine. But so let's go on without wasting my time and generate some data. So to begin with, I'm just going to import the Faker library and then also define a function that allows me to generate some data. Okay, so with these two lines here, I import the pandas data frame, the pandas pack module, and then I also import the faker class from the fakers package. Okay, so these three lines very important to begin with. Okay, so with that done, we can now, I like to use functions to simplify the things that I do. All right, so here again, I'm generating some fake data as a list of dictionaries. Okay, for each record in my data would be the author's name, and then there will be a title, and then there will be the body of the text thing. So three fields: the author and a title and then the text. Okay, so again, just for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna restrict the output to just 5. I will run this code so that you see the result of generate data. So if I were to run this now, beautiful, we have seen this. Okay, so you see that we have a nice little list here with each record being the name of the author, the title, and then the body of text here. Okay, 5 of them. So nice and easily we can generate like 1,000 records. All right, so with that said, we need to now create our data frame and populate it with some data. So let's just go ahead and do that. I'm just gonna call generate data directly here because it's gonna give me a list of dictionaries, and that's one nice thing with dealing with pandas data frame, because if you pass it a list of dictionaries, it would nicely generate data for you using the dictionary keys as column headings. Okay, so this time I want like 100 articles of fake data generated for me, and in just one click I have 100 articles ready to be saved to disk. Okay, so I do whatever processing that I want to do with this data. The next thing is I want to save to disk. So how do I save to disk? Now, the first thing about saving to disk is that I want to save each one of these records as a separate text file with all the information, author's name, title, and text in separate text files like that. So how do I go about this? You think about it for a moment. So the way to go about it would be to use one of the methods, the functions that Pandas provides for saving to disk, and we are going to use to dict. Okay, I would like to save it to dict, and I will set the orientation. So there is an orient here that you can set and specify it as record. I hope I did everything correctly. Okay, good. So I'm just going to save this in a variable called records like this. Okay, so nice and easy. Okay, so it is this that I'm going to now manipulate. Okay, so if you wanted to just see how the records are organized, you can just peek into it, and let's draw out the first one. Okay, so each one is a dictionary like that. Okay, so I'm just going to find a way to now format this in the correct way that I want to format it before I write to disk. So with that done, I'm going to do a loop here, and I'll do for record in record. Now remember that each record is a dictionary. Okay, so I need to format an output. So let me just do um, this in format how I want my text output formatted, and with this I can use string formatting to generate the kind of output. So I want the first line to be the name of the author. Okay, so it's gonna have let me just use this demarcated and call it author, and followed by that will be the author's name, and then the next line will come like that. Oops. Yes, followed by the next line like that. Okay, and then I don't need a space here. Let me just take time to do this. Okay, so I'm using Python's string formatting to go about doing this. And then the next thing would be the title. Like that. And then we'll go to the next line. And that would be the body. Okay, so like that. And so I have the author. Oops, I didn't do that well. Okay, then we go to the next line, and then we do the title, and then there'll be a title, and the next line, the last line will be the body. So I do the format, and then remember, so since the record is a dictionary, we can just get the keys that we are interested in like that. So the first one can be the author, next one can be the title, and then the last one can be the body. Okay, so just a little typing here, but it does the work that we are looking forward to do, so no worries about that. Okay, so this is what we want to do. Okay, so we have nicely formatted the string that we want to now write. Okay, so the next line would be to find a way to write the output to the disk. Okay, so how do we name the files? I want to name every file in the following way. So we can call it maybe record number 1, record 2, record 3. If that's the way you want to name it, this is how to go about it. So I'm going to use a simple convention here to generate the file name. So let's call this the file name, and I already have a folder that I've created inside my working directory. Okay, so everything is going to be saved in that folder. Let's call that folder records. Okay, and then each record is going to be called record. Okay, so let's just call it record, and I have to dynamically generate the so we're going to name it record1.txt, record2.txt, like that. So what I'm going to do is I have to find a way to number each record, and there's an easy way to do that using enumerate. Okay, so all that I need to do is to enumerate the, the records. Okay, so I would have I as an index, which I can now append to this nicely as record. So string manipulation allows me to do that. And remember, since I is zero based, I'm gonna start from, it's gonna start from one if I left it alone, but I want to start from, it's gonna start from zero, sorry, if I left it alone. So I'm just gonna add one, so it starts from one, and then I add the last bit to it, which is .txt, so that we have the correct extension for the file. So remember, everything is going to go in the records folder, and then the file name will be record1.txt, record2.txt, like that. Okay, so that's how we're going to name the files. So the next thing I need to do is to open a file, this file name for writing. Okay, so I check the uh, open mode as write, and I always like to specify the encoding just to be on the safer side. Okay, so that also has been taken care of. Good. And let me call it out. Okay, so we can nicely do out.write. And what are we writing? We are writing the output. Good. So this is essentially everything we need to do to write out our output. If everything works out fine, we shouldn't have any errors. So I'm just gonna go ahead and run these lines of code. Okay, so let's see what we get. Good. And we have no errors. There's no complaints on our screen. And so let me go into that folder called records and see if I have my records sitting there, and nicely I have all my records sitting there just as expected. Okay, so basically if you were to go in there, you can open these files one by one and inspect them, and you can see that we have author, and it gives the name of the author, title, and it gives the title, and then the rest here would be the body of text. You can go ahead and format it any way that you want to format it, but simply using the style that we use, you can even make it more complex. So in summing up, this is how you would combine Pandas in whatever other method that you use to generate your data to write some output to disk as text files. All right, I know this is a little bit involving, so take your time and go over as many times as you need, but I hope that you get the import of what we have done. If you have any questions, I'd like to get to know. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time with another interesting one.